In 2014, a quiet estate auction in London drew only a handful of collectors. Among the furniture, paintings, and family heirlooms, one item looked ordinary: a small leather-bound diary with a faded clasp. But inside, the handwriting was clear and elegant, signed Elizabeth R. Taylor on the first page. The entries dated back to 1964, and as the pages turned, a story began to unfold that no one was prepared for. Here was Hollywood's most glamorous star, revealing her fears, heartbreaks, and darkest secrets in her own words. She even described herself in a way no fan had ever heard. Cellophane Elizabeth, the name she used for the private self hidden from cameras. The diary hinted at a betrayal she could never forgive. A journalist she had trusted with her memoir, who secretly recorded their conversations, turning private confessions into potential scandal. For decades, people had heard whispers of these tapes, but without proof, the rumors faded. Now, this diary seemed to confirm it all. It spoke of her battles with love, her struggles with addiction, and the price she paid for fame. It also revealed moments of bravery and deep loyalty, painting a portrait far more complex than the tabloids ever dared to show. The discovery of the diary reopened old questions. What did those tapes truly contain? Who was the real Elizabeth Taylor? The one in the spotlight, or the one on these hidden pages? To find the answer, we have to journey back to the beginning, to the little girl from London whose life would become one of Hollywood's most captivating and heartbreaking stories. Elizabeth Taylor was born on February 27, 1932, in Hampstead Garden suburb, London, to wealthy American parents who ran an art gallery on Bond Street. Surrounded by beauty and culture, her early life seemed destined for glamour. Her family's circle included politicians, artists, and even Colonel Victor Cazalet, a powerful figure in British society who became her unofficial godfather. But childhood wasn't all luxury. As tensions in Europe grew and war loomed, U.S. Ambassador Joseph P. Kennedy advised the Taylors to leave England. In April 1939, Elizabeth, her mother, and her brother boarded the SS Manhattan, sailing for America. Her father stayed behind to close the gallery and joined them months later. They settled first in Pasadena, then in Beverly Hills, quickly blending into Hollywood's social scene. Even before reaching the United States, Elizabeth had been marked for the stage. She began dancing lessons at age 3, and by a twist of fate, performed for Princess Elizabeth and Princess Margaret as a toddler, a story that would seem almost prophetic years later. In Los Angeles, her mother, a former actress, encouraged her talent. A family friend suggested she take a Hollywood screen test, and soon Elizabeth was in front of the cameras. At just 10 years old, she landed her first film role in There's One Born Every Minute, 1942. Though Universal Pictures signed her for a 7-year contract, they dropped her after only one movie, claiming she looked too mature for a child star. What they didn't realize was that this so-called flaw would soon become her greatest asset. MGM quickly stepped in, setting the stage for one of the most legendary careers in movie history. A career that would be filled with both triumph and pain, much of which the diary would later reveal. When MGM signed Elizabeth in 1943, her life transformed. At age 12, she starred in National Velvet 1944, a role that made her a household name. Playing Velvet Brown, a young girl who disguises herself as a boy to compete in a major horse race, Elizabeth won the hearts of audiences worldwide. But behind the smiles and bright lights, there was a cost. To prepare for the role, she underwent a strict regimen to make her appear taller and more athletic, and during filming, she fell off a horse, injuring her back, an injury that would cause her pain for the rest of her life. MGM rewarded her with a $750a-week contract, a fortune for a child in the 1940s. Yet, from the beginning, the studio exerted strict control over her life, shaping her image and even planning her personal affairs. By 18, Elizabeth was married, not for love, but because MGM wanted to secure her public image. Her husband, Conrad Nicky Hilton Jr., heir to the Hilton Hotel fortune, was charming in public but abusive in private. Their short marriage ended after only 8 months, following a miscarriage caused by his violence. In her diary, Taylor would later describe those months as the moment her innocence died, writing of cellophane Elizabeth, emerging, a side of her that learned to hide pain behind a perfect smile. The divorce infuriated MGM, which retaliated by forcing her into roles beneath her talent. Yet even then, her star power was undeniable. In 1952, despite her disinterest in the role, Ivanhoe became a massive hit, proving that Elizabeth Taylor could draw audiences even when the studio seemed intent on punishing her. By the late 1950s, Elizabeth's life was a mix of professional success and personal chaos. Her second marriage, to British actor Michael Wilding, brought 2 children but little stability. Money was tight, and MGM tightened its grip with a new 7-year contract worth $400,700 a week, a deal that came with strings attached. But one event during this period would define her character more than any role she ever played. On May 12, 1956, after hosting a dinner party in Benedict Canyon, Elizabeth's close friend Montgomery Clift left her home. Minutes later, he crashed his car into a telephone pole. She ran barefoot to the wreck and found him choking on his own teeth. Without hesitation, she reached into his throat and cleared the blockage, saving his life. In her diary, she wrote of shaking for hours afterward, the smell of blood lingering in her memory. Clift's face was never the same, and his career suffered. When studios refused to hire him, Elizabeth risked her own career to insist he be cast in Suddenly, last summer's 1959, even offering her $500,000 salary as insurance. This fierce loyalty would be a recurring theme in her life, one that made her friends for life and enemies for just as long. But loyalty could not protect her from loss. In 1966, Clift died of a heart attack at just 45. Elizabeth called him her soulmate and never fully recovered from the grief. Her diary from that year reads like a lament, a mix of guilt, sorrow, and longing that would fuel the turbulent choices she made in love and career for years to come. The late 1950s and early 1960s were a storm for Elizabeth Taylor. Her happiest days came with her third husband, producer Mike Todd, whom she married in 1957. Todd adored her, showering her with extravagant gifts, including a diamond so large she wore it as a pendant. But tragedy struck in 1958 when Todd's private plane crashed, killing him instantly. Grief-stricken, Elizabeth found comfort in his best friend, singer Eddie Fisher, who happened to be married to America's sweetheart, Debbie Reynolds. The affair became a national scandal, and Elizabeth was labeled a homewrecker. Her diary hints at the truth. Fisher was a distraction from her grief, not a great love. Still, the marriage went ahead in 1959, only to dissolve in jealousy and violence. Fisher reportedly held a gun to her head more than once, whispering that she was too pretty to shoot. In 1961, while still married to Fisher, Elizabeth won her first Oscar for Butterfield 8. She hated the film, believing the award was given out of sympathy after she nearly died from pneumonia earlier that year. The victory felt hollow, a reminder of how the public image often overshadowed the real woman, the one spilling her pain into diary pages no one else would read. One of the most beautiful aspects of Lisa Marie Presley's life was her role as a mother. No matter how many times she was in the headlines or how challenging her personal struggles became, she always made it clear that her children came first. Her deep love for her family was a source of strength during difficult times. Friends and relatives have often shared that Lisa Marie made an effort to keep her children's lives as normal and private as possible, shielding them from the chaos of fame. She understood the pressures of being born into a legendary family, having lived that herself as Elvis's only child. For Lisa Marie, being a mother meant being a protector, a teacher, and a source of unconditional love, even when her own life felt unstable. She wanted to make sure her children felt grounded and secure. This maternal instinct, combined with the lessons she learned from her own upbringing, made her fiercely dedicated to guiding her children toward their own paths. Her honesty about both her successes and her mistakes served as a living example for them, showing that it's okay to stumble as long as you keep moving forward. In her final years, Lisa Marie seemed to find a certain peace within herself. She still faced challenges, including health concerns and emotional struggles, but she also showed a renewed focus on what truly mattered to her: her family, her music, and her legacy. She made several heartfelt public appearances where she spoke about her father's enduring influence and her gratitude for her fans. Many who saw her in those moments noticed a sense of reflection in her words, as if she was looking back on her life with both pride and acceptance. She wasn't pretending her life had been perfect. Instead, she embraced the reality of its ups and downs. By opening up more about her personal battles, she continued to connect with people who felt inspired by her resilience. She seemed to understand that her story, with all its triumphs and challenges, could help others facing their own struggles. In the end, she left a legacy not only of music and fame, but also of authenticity and emotional honesty. Lisa Marie Presley's journey continues to resonate because it is deeply human. While she grew up in extraordinary circumstances as the daughter of one of the most famous figures in history, she experienced many of the same emotions and challenges that ordinary people face: loss, love, mistakes, regrets, and the search for meaning. Her willingness to talk about her struggles with addiction, her painful losses, and her complicated relationships made her more relatable than untouchable. She proved that fame doesn't protect anyone from life's challenges, but it also doesn't take away the chance to heal and grow. In an age where so much of celebrity life is carefully polished and controlled, Lisa Marie's openness set her apart. She showed that it is possible to acknowledge pain without letting it define you, and that strength often comes from vulnerability. This is why her story still inspires conversations years after her most public moments. People see themselves in her journey, the highs, the lows, and the unbreakable hope that carries you forward. As the news of Sophia Loren's emotional farewell spread across the world, many fans found themselves reflecting not only on her remarkable career, but also on the timeless lessons her life represents. She has always been more than just a movie star. Sophia was, and still is, a symbol of perseverance, elegance, and authenticity. She faced incredible challenges, from growing up during wartime poverty to breaking through the rigid expectations of the entertainment industry. Yet she never allowed those hardships to define her in a negative way. Instead, she transformed them into stepping stones, using her pain and struggles to fuel her artistry and inspire others. In doing so, she became a living testament to the power of resilience and the value of staying true to oneself. Fans who have followed her journey for decades say that what made Sophia truly unforgettable was not just her beauty or talent, but her ability to connect with people on a deeply personal level. Through every role she played, whether a strong, independent woman or a character grappling with vulnerability, she brought genuine emotion to the screen. Viewers could sense that she wasn't simply reciting lines, but drawing from real-life experiences and feelings. That authenticity made her performances feel alive and relatable, even to audiences far removed from her background or time. Her departure from the public stage has left a noticeable emptiness in the world of cinema, but it has also sparked a renewed appreciation for the craft and dedication she brought to every project. Many believe that Sophia Loren's story will continue to inspire generations of dreamers, artists, and those navigating difficult times. In an era where celebrity culture often focuses on temporary fame and fleeting popularity, Sophia's enduring influence is a reminder that true legacy comes from consistency, integrity, and heart. She never allowed fame to distance her from her values, and she carried herself with grace, even in the face of harsh criticism and personal trials. Her journey shows that success is not just about achieving your dreams, but about how you treat others along the way and how you hold on to your identity when the world tries to change you. While she may no longer be in the spotlight, Sophia Loren's impact is far from over. Film enthusiasts will continue to revisit her classics. Aspiring actors will study her performances for inspiration, and fans will share her interviews, quotes, and life stories with new audiences. In many ways, this farewell is not an ending, but a transformation, a passing of her influence into the hands of those she has inspired. For Sophia, The curtain may have closed on her active career, but her spirit will remain woven into the fabric of cinema history forever.